guys, I'm Nina.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Ethan.
And we are Bloody Essentials. We just wanted to thank everybody who's already supported the podcast. It really means the world to us and it helps podcast out so much. Shout out to our Patreon, Rick Paulton. Rick, thank you for helping us from the very beginning and, just being there as a fellow listener and fellow horror fan. Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Definitely.
If you want to be mentioned in our episodes as well and receive fun little goodies from the entire Bloody Essentials team.
We keep making a mashup. I'm okay with it. I mean, it's
Right?
an incredible mashup. It is.
Bloody enchiladas just doesn't sound fun.
Speak
Anyways.
for yourself.
Anyways, if you want to get goodies from the Bloody Essentials team, you can join our Patreon. There's fun little perks, including a Discord channel, movie parties, and gifts from us that we send to you directly. So there's no commitment whatsoever. And it's a great little system that we have set up. Ethan, would you like to tell our listeners more about the Horror House Shop and their GoFundMe?
Absolutely. As you know, our friends at the Horror House had some issues with their landlords and with their plumbing, and they have to move from their current location. They're going to be opening up another location down the street in early 2025. But if anybody has ever had a business and had to move, it's very, very costly. They've lost a lot of product. And the landlord is being a complete douchebag about things and not helping them with anything. So they have a GoFundMe page out, which is in our link. It's on all of our personal pages as well. We encourage everybody to go there and, if you have $5, $10, $2, everything will help. These are really, really good guys. They're a cornerstone of the horror community. We really want to help them out. So we're asking our Bloody Essentials family to reach out and do all that they can. We appreciate it. And I know they do too.
Yeah. The link to that will be in our description for each episode, as well as in our link tree. So feel free to donate and share. It really helps a lot. And we have an upcoming appearance at Days of the Dead Chicago, November 22nd through the 24th. All three of us will be there. We're not vendors. Yeah. That's exciting. Yeah. We are not vendors. We're just patrons like yourselves. So if you see us, come say hello, grab a drink with us. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah. Take a picture. I might bring my cryptid cornhole game along so we can play some of that.
Yes.
Definitely.
We may or may not have some horror trivia after hours in the parking lot or in the vestibule. So
there's nothing that says horror convention quite like the after parties in the hotel parking lot.
That is true. And anybody who, if you know, Stitch will also be coming with us. Stitch will be coming with us. So if you know anything about Stitch, you'll want to come and meet Stitch after.
Come find us.
Yeah.
And if you don't know anything about Stitch, you'll still want to come find Stitch. We assure you.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. Tonight we have a very special guest. We have LK HorrorNerd joining us tonight. Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
Hey everybody, what's up?
Hey.
Doing good. Doing good.
It's been really busy, but yeah.
Yeah, we're excited to have you.
Okay, so I'm LK, the HorrorNerd. I'm a deafblind, non-binary trans woman, and a horror content creator. I'm also a filmmaker, director, producer, screenwriter, and an actor. I've been working on 3 different films for the last 15 years. So it's been a long process. We went through like a pandemic, climate change, just to finally finish those films. And hopefully we're getting closer now. But doing it on a very small budget, it's like ridiculous at times. I also do a lot of horror movie review. And I have a Patreon. I'm on YouTube, Twitter, all the other stuff. And if you can't understand me clearly, that's because I have a speech impediment. That's part of my physical disability I was born with. Kind of like that famous actor who played Rocky. So that's pretty much why. Other than that, pretty cool. Very chill for the most part. I'm on the autism spectrum. I have ADHD, and I'm just fucking weird. I just love all things weird. So,
Okay.
You're in good company.
Yeah, you are.
I grew up and travel all over. So I live here in Vermont for about the last 12 years now. So
Ah,
that's pretty much me.
Love
ah.
it.
And what are some of your favorite horror movies?
Oh, I got a lot of favorite. I would say definitely The Evil Dead.
Ah,
Because, The Evil Dead was one of the very first films I got to start when I was much younger. And it was
mhm.
like on VHS tape back then. And my mom had a tape of it. So that movie is one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to become a horror filmmaker today. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome.
I got a couple other ones. Obviously, Terrifier. All the
Oh
Terrifier movies. I
yeah.
have not seen number 3 yet. So don't
I
Oh, we
blame me.
haven't
won't.
either.
I have not seen it yet. I really want to go see it, but I did not have enough
Me
money to
too.
go to New York City because that's the nearby theater for co-casting and all that other stuff. So
Gotcha.
unfortunately, I can't go. I'm hoping it's still on theater, but if not, I can always go buy the DVD collection. I'm not just gonna like stream it. I'm just gonna go ahead and watch it and buy it because I'm a
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
huge Terrifier fan.
Oh
I just
yeah.
put in the first Terrifier film. I believe it was through some kind of campaign they did a while back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just put it there, but my name is not in the credit because I could only spend like this much money to support it. So. But it
Yeah.
was so cool though, and ever since then I've been hooked. Then there's all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, there's also Friday the 13th, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street,
Oh, of course.
so the original and the remake, I like both. I just don't know why,
Okay.
I just love it. I've seen every single horror movie there are. There's really a whole bunch of movies. I mean, I got a collection that's still building right here, but you can't really see it because I'm using a book in the background. But I will tell you that I have this one right here, which is very cool.
Ooh.
So,
Oh,
Oh,
love
yes.
that series.
I
Yeah.
actually have my name on the credit for this one.
Oh,
So,
That's
Ah,
amazing.
yeah, I have
you
a huge
you and me
collection.
both.
Right, it's pretty cool though.
ah,
I
that's
have a wonderful
awesome.
community who helped me rebuild what I lost when we had that big bad flood like last year and earlier this year in my state. So it's been pretty rough. But I'm just so glad I was able to rebuild what I lost. So
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
totally.
Awesome. Well, we're very excited tonight because we are
Uh,
talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2022. I have not seen this since it came out. I don't know about the rest of you guys.
Same.
Same.
This was my second viewing.
Me
Yeah,
too.
Yeah. Did everybody see this when it first came out in 2022?
Yes.
I
yeah,
did.
I saw it when it first came out on Netflix, and I saw it again every year since then because they had that anniversary. So I
Yeah.
will like take the time out for that whole weekend, August 1974, whatever, and
Yeah.
just basically watch every single Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie
Ah,
from the original all the way to 2022. And there's like
wow.
different timelines, so
Yeah.
that's something I can talk about later. But yeah,
Perfect.
Nice.
All right, Ethan, let's jump on into it.
All right.
Plot points.
Okay.
Plot points. Here we go, guys. Well, the movie opens and it begins to tell the story of the OG Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's kind of like a documentary newsreel that we're seeing happen on the TV that is being watched at a gas station. So they're telling the story, and Melody and her sister Layla come into the gas station, and they're buying some trinkets and stuff. And of course, like any good capitalist people, they're selling little Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Leatherface things in the store. So they're selling that, and Layla goes over and she buys a corkscrew of a chainsaw. So you think, okay, how cute. that'll come into play later, obviously.
Oh yeah. Can I just say too that I want the I Chainsaw Texas shirt that was hanging up
Yes.
on the back.
Yeah.
I did
I
too.
love
That's
it
very
so
cool.
much.
Okay, so they're buying some stuff. They're talking to the guy in the gas station about what's going on, and they're talking about Sally and is she still alive? And we find out that she is now a Texas Ranger. So then they go outside and meet the rest of the cast as they're gassing up, and the guy pulls up next to him, putting diesel in his truck, and he's got a gun on his hip. And of course, they say something about him having a gun on his hip, and he's trying to compensate for the size of something. Which I'm like, why being a dick to this guy? It's Texas. He's got a gun. He's just trying to put gas in his truck. Leave him alone.
He's
You are
just
literally out of your element.
because I was born and raised in Texas for the most part. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, just leave him
I see it
alone.
everywhere.
yeah.
Literally, you are below that Mason-Dixon line. Everybody has a gun.
Right. Okay. So they're in the car. They're in the car and they're driving, and you see Layla in the back, and she's scrolling through Instagram, and she's going through a bunch of anti-gun rhetoric on her phone. And then we see that she has what looks like a bullet hole up here. We don't know what happened, but we can kind of put two and two together. So they're driving down.
That thing in that movie that show what happened to her. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're driving down the street, and they get pulled over by the sheriffs. And as they're pulling over, the driver Dante is like, "All right, everybody, put your hands up so they can see him," because the city boys don't want any trouble with the country cops, and the country cops don't want any crap from the city boys. So they have that little banter back and forth.
I mean, it makes sense because a lot of
No,
I know,
absolutely.
but it makes sense because most people that live in a city that, well, I say city very generously, people that live in a
Right.
town that has less than 150,000 people, obviously they're going to be mistrusting of strangers, and these people, and these people are literally coming to gentrify the town, like
right. And these cops probably are. I mean,
they know exactly who they are.
It's the town. They know who they are. They know what they're there for. They're probably not really happy. So I could see them being a little pissy.
Yeah.
And, these guys are all from the city, and,
Yeah.
It's like the sheriff guy even says. He says, just please respect the town,
That's it.
Yeah.
So they just want some respect for Harlow.
Exactly.
And they don't do that.
No,
they do not. Okay, so they arrive in Harlow, Texas, and it is a total ghost town. There's nobody there. So
it's cute though. Can I say it's cute though? It's for a ghost town, it's super cute. I would definitely do a ghost tour there. Just saying.
Exactly. So they're there to revamp the town and sell everything off and regentrify it and all that good stuff. Like, I'm not mad at them. Have at it, guys. So now they see the guy from the pump, and they're like, "Oh my God, what's he doing here?" And they realize that, oh crap, he's the contractor that's going to fix this all up for us. So you can remove the foot out of your mouth now, because you were bad talking this guy, and he's going to be the one who's helping you. So
I know you're going to be relying on this guy pretty heavily. Okay.
Exactly. So the contractor, they have their little back and forth there. He's like, "So what are you guys doing here? Are you a cult, whatever?" Which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like, no.
I thought the question because I'm from a small conservative town, and I would know that because when I was living in the town where I grew up in, there would be like people asking, "Oh, what the hell are you doing here? Are you in like that kind of thing?" And they didn't even know that there was a movie being filmed there. So that was the whole float movie, by the way. But
wow.
it was like, really interesting. So
my favorite part though, after they went through that whole thing, and the contractor was like, "You know what? I really don't care. as long as you pay me,
Mm-hmm.
we're all good. Do what you want. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. I'm like, am I going to get paid for what you want me to do? Have at it. Don't really
Yeah.
care.
For real.
Yeah, that's the funny part about the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
All right, so they notice that there's a Confederate flag hanging up over one of the houses, and Dante's worried not about what it represents or anything. He's worried if the people who are coming there see that they won't buy their property. That's what I got out of it. Not so much. I'm like, which I can understand what he's saying, but he's like, we got to get that down.
Well, also, like, it's something that you should probably.
When they come into the town, like there's definitely a lot of people who are investors that consider to be politically inclined to be on the left. And so that's why they were really concerned about that. It's not just about the inmate thing, but it's more about like what that flag represents, because if it's bad history, so when you got people coming in from Austin, that's complicated.
Yeah,
right, but kind of why I laughed when he was like, we need to get it down because the people won't buy it if it's up here. Because I'm like, that's a pretty right-leaning way of thinking. I'm a capitalist. Let me take that down so I can make my money.
Oh, I see.
That's kind of what I was laughing about that, because I mean, obviously he's a little left-leaning, but he was like, he wasn't thinking with the left side. He was thinking with the right side.
It will be an independent type, probably.
No. Yeah. I thought that part was funny. So anyway, they are now at the Harlow Orphanage, and they meet Virginia, who happens to be Leatherface's mom.
Yeah,
well,
and they didn't.
She's not his mom, I don't think.
Well, mom figure.
Yeah,
that's what he can. That's what he considers. It's not his mom.
It's not the actual mother.
No, it's not the actual mom, because we never found out who she was. Even the OG. So.
And we didn't even know anybody was living here. They just walked in, and the place looks like nobody's living there. There's boxes, there's stuff laying around, but they just strolled right in and started looking. And then there's a lady who lives there.
All that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So she's like, "Oh, hi, you must be the new neighbors. Come on in. Let me get you some, iced tea and lemonade." Trying to be a little bit nice to him. So they sit down, and Dante explains to her, we're not the new neighbors. We own the place. And she's like, no, we had some issues with the bank, but we took care of it.
Yeah. And at this point, maybe Dante and the rest of the people there should shut up, leave, and go talk to the bank people, or the sheriff, somebody. Oh my God.
That's it exactly.
Belittle this woman who has done nothing but be nice to you.
I know.
Exactly.
She's just minding her own business in her house. And
the next note says Dante continues to be a dick. So that's it. So he leaves, and he's like, screw this. I'm going to go get the sheriffs, whatever. And Virginia begins to talk to Melody, and she's like, no, this isn't right. We own the house. And she's like, I don't know. And you see, standing up the stairs, you see the big silhouette of, the 6'7" Leatherface. So, sheriff shows up and is like, no, we told you a couple weeks ago, you got to get out of here. And she's like, I'm not leaving. Long story short, she has a heart attack.
Ugh. Poor Lainey. And she's telling them the whole time, I have the title, I have the deed.
She's like, I have the deed to the house.
Just to be clear, the way they did show the heart attack thing and everything, definitely what heart attack looks like in a woman, because
really?
The man is completely different. It's not very accurate in most movies when they try to show a woman having a heart attack, but it doesn't look exactly like what a woman will have. So that's why it's so complicated. But I'm so glad that they were accurate in this movie, because most movies don't even show that.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, women actually have, there's different symptoms too that women can have, like that are like a sign that a heart attack is coming, or like a dizziness and stuff like that. But yeah, women have some different symptoms for heart attacks than men.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why they do, when they get the heart attack, what's actually a good way to show what it looks like. Because, you know, that, I mean, yeah, it's a horror movie, but you can still get educated on what a heart attack looks like in a woman.
Yeah.
Totally.
For sure. Yeah.
So Leatherface rushes down and he picks up Virginia and brings her into the ambulance. At this point, it cuts over and the bus with all of the people are arriving. Ruth, who is Dante's girlfriend, is like, you guys have to stay here with them. I'm going to go to the hospital with her to make sure that she's okay. So Ruth goes into the ambulance with the cops and Leatherface and Leatherface's mother, caregiver, whatever she is. Sisters are arguing about, moving. I'm not going to move here. It's 7 hours away from my friends. Yes, you are. You need me. The whole banter back and forth between the sisters.
Yeah, after that whole tragedy with the school student, that's pretty much why.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
And she's like, you can't take care of yourself, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How old do you think the older sister is? Because I don't think they say.
Like, maybe not. I don't think much older.
Definitely her early 20s at this point.
Yeah, I was thinking early 20s.
Yeah, I would say early to mid 20s.
When you survive a school student, you are completely traumatized from that.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably why, they were doing that whole banter back and forth. But
yeah, totally.
All right, so the banker and the people are now looking around the town, and Melody starts setting up for the meeting. We switch back into the ambulance, and Leatherface starts giving the mother oxygen because she's not breathing, and Virginia ends up dying. Which Leatherface begins to freak out. And the cop in the back, he grabs him by the arm and snaps his arm off, and then proceeds to stab him with his own arm, with his own bone, which I thought was just awesome.
Damn, that was brutal.
Okay, that was pretty cool. I was like, oh man, he just like broke his hand off and he stabbed him with the bone like that.
Yes.
You don't see that every day, guys.
No, that was good.
A lot of horror movies. I think just to be clear about, just so we can clarify real quick about this whole plot so far. The woman is actually the caregiver for the orphan. So based on what some people were saying behind the scene about the film and everything, they're saying that Leatherface was dropped off in the middle of nowhere, a small town of Harlow, because, there's nobody to take care of anymore. All the Sawyer family are gone at this point. And so this is like 50 years or whatever. So you got Mama Sawyer, you got Papa Sawyer, you got Drayton, you got the cook, all these people that probably saw and Texas Chainsaw 3D. These are the people that's supposed to be taking care of Leatherface. And that's why the story, this film, the original, every other film is completely erased from the timeline. Unless you want to try to include the Texas Chainsaw 3D into the new timeline, that might be kind of hard to explain. Unless you say, Leatherface got dropped off because nobody's there to take care of him anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to be clear that Virginia as a caregiver and that whole place is actually a house for what is considered an orphan.
Right.
People with disabilities, children, and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the backstory from what I understood when they come up with the strip in the first place.
Sure.
Yeah. The only thing that I think that I was confused on, and I think maybe a few other people were confused on too, how old was Leatherface meant to be in the original? Because it feels like he should be much older in this movie, and he's not. Like
I
when I
know.
saw the original, I thought he was maybe late 20s, early
Sure.
30s.
I
And
could
this
see
is supposed to be
that.
50
Yeah.
years later.
It's gotta be at
So
least mid to late 20s.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is 50 years later. So he's got to be 70 something.
Yeah, so he's
He's
75.
up there. He's got to
Yeah.
be up
Yeah.
there.
It just, he does not move like a 70-year-old man.
He stayed nice and spry.
Yes,
Right.
he did. Yeah.
All right. So
Uh,
now we're back, and the other cop has been stabbed with, or the first cop has been stabbed with his own bone, but he goes to pull out his gun, and Leatherface hits the gun, and it goes off, and it shoots the other cop through the partition
And that,
in the
Driver.
van.
yeah. Yeah.
Yes, and so they go and they crash. Now we're back at the auction where they're doing all the selling of the houses, and the sister goes and she's walking the town, Layla, and she goes in and she starts talking to the contractor. And of course she's still being kind of a dick to him, talking about, oh yeah, you're putting diesel in your truck, that's not good for the economy, blah blah blah, or for the environment. And then she sees the gun that's sitting there, and she kind of like
Environment
freaks out.
after, because you're talking about the truck and everything, just to be clear, that the economy that they were talking about.
No,
Yeah,
not the
yeah.
economy, I meant to say the environment.
That's all good.
Anyway,
I remember
they start-
that movie.
they start talking about the gun. He takes he unloads the gun and hands it to her. She kind of freaks out. That's when we found out that she was in a school shooting, and that she actually should have been dead, but all of her friends were instead of her, which I sympathize, where she would have issues being around guns and stuff. That's a horrific thing that you would have to go through.
Oh my
So-
gosh. It breaks my heart when she says the line, she's saying, like, everybody expects me to do something special now
Right.
with my life. Because
Right.
it's like,
That's
I'm
not
sure.
me. That's literally all my friends. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's just,
But-
like,
And then
gosh,
there's the
recovering.
whole social commentary throughout the whole movie, talking about this and not talking about the competitive life. It's interesting because later on you're gonna see what I mean when Ethan takes that away to go out
Yeah.
ahead. I mean, it's gonna be an entity part.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the auction is over, and they say that it is time to go ahead and party. So then Dante and Melody find out via text message that Virginia is dead. So Melody's like, I'm done. There's something that doesn't feel right about this. I'm grabbing, I'm grabbing my sister, I'm grabbing Layla, and I'm gonna dip. I'm done with this. So she goes and she finds her with the contractor, and Layla's kind of like a train wreck at this point, which is understandable because they were talking about, everything that's going on. It cuts back to the crash, and we find out that Ruth is still alive.
This dumb bitch.
Yeah. She's still
Dumb
alive.
bitch.
So
Just stay. if you're going to play dead, I'm gonna need you to commit to the bit.
Yes.
right, just stay dead.
Still
Stay dead.
Yeah,
So-
you don't want to get caught by Leatherface because
No.
So
Hey,
she's looking out the window, and she sees that
just like every other Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
she's looking out the window, and she sees that Virginia is laying on the ground, and Leatherface is standing over her, and he is, sawing her face off. So
As he does.
I mean, as that it happens. So then we get the iconic, where he's lifting up the face before he puts
Yes.
it on. That whole poster, which that's a cool looking poster. I mean, I
And
will
that's
say
a
that.
cool moment. That's a fun
Yes.
moment. It
It
is. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for somebody holding up somebody's face, like that.
Exactly.
I mean, honestly, who's not a sucker for that kind of stuff in a horror film? Anytime a
Right?
horror film does something like that, it's like,
It's like,
I
yes.
feel that.
Okay, so Ruth now uses the radio and tries to call for help and let her know what's going on. So she's playing dead. Leatherface comes over, and he kills the cop that he shot. And the next thing we see, he's dragging Virginia away. And Ruth is like, okay, I'm going to unclip my belt real slow.
No.
I'm going to crawl over the dead cop and look out the window. Because why didn't you just get out the door you were in? But whatever. So she's looking out here. Next thing you know, Leatherface is on the other side, busts through the window, starts choking her, and stabs her in the gut. Just.
Yeah.
And now I didn't see. Was that a piece of glass that from the window?
Yes.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And he stabs her in the gut and kills her. And Leatherface is like, deuces, y'all are dead. I'm gonna walk through these sunflowers. I'm gonna get down the street and I'm going home. See ya.
Don't mess with me.
What's so funny about that whole kill and everything going on? I think it's big ass field of sunflower all over. I think sunflower looks very creepy, like
Yeah, they're like dead.
Because then again, sunflower are not supposed to be beautiful. But we have never seen sunflower that big in a field like that. And Leatherface is walking right through. He's just going like, man, fuck y'all. I'm going to take a walk through the field. Well, in his mind, that's what I think. So he's just walking at this point.
Okay, so Melody and Lila, they're like, we're going home. And Dante is like, I'll just take the bus. You guys go ahead and take my car, and goes to throw the car keys. And the contractor snatches the car keys and goes in the bus and grabs the keys. And he's like, no, nobody's going anywhere. He's like,
Yeah, he found out.
Yeah, he's like, she died. This is your fault. If you got the deed, let me see it. As soon as you give me the deed, I'll give you your keys. You can go.
Yeah, because he's basically like, you did wrong, guys. You did wrong, and you're gonna have to take some accountability here. And I got your keys. So
look at that accountability.
Yeah, they didn't even bother to prove it the whole movie, and it took so long to even get to that point. So that's what's interesting about what happened right after that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So Dante's like, give me those keys, and he's like, I don't think so. And then Dante takes his tail between his legs and runs off because he'd got his ass kicked.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So they go ahead and Melody and him get into the bus, and he's like, all right, we'll get the deed so we can show it to him and we can get the keys. And he's like, okay. He's going through the stuff, and he's like, I don't have the deed. It must be at the office. And she's like, what do you mean it's at the office? We don't have it here. And she's like, do we even have the deed?
Oh,
she said we had the deed. She had the deed. Are you sure? And he was like, well,
you were so sure a couple hours ago. Now you're not.
Yeah, we have a dead lady now.
Exactly. So they decide that they're going to go ahead and go into the house and look around to see if they can find the deed. So
do some breaking and entering.
Right.
Again.
I mean,
as they do.
I mean, they've already killed her, so breaking in her house really not going to bother anything. So,
right.
Okay. So they go into the house and they start looking, and the guy from the original gas station that they stopped at calls Sally and was like, look, this is what's going on. This is what's happening. And Sally's butchering a pig. And she was like, all right, well, I'm done.
You got to get it at this point.
She's like, I'm done. I'm taking my shit off. I'm going to get my hat and I'm going to Harlow. So, so she's on her way for revenge. She gets in the car, and this kind of did pull up my heartstrings a little bit when she pulled down the picture of the old crew from the OG.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I was like, oh, you're so sad. And then it flashed back to her and I was like, who the hell are you? Because you're not Sally. But we'll talk about that later. I was like,
talk about it now.
I was like, this is pulling at my heartstrings with this picture. Who the hell are you? Because you're not Sally. Look, I'm sorry, Marilyn Burns, you are not you should have rewrote that some other way and just been like, she died and her cousin came, or she died and her little
This is
sister
her
came,
sister,
her daughter,
yeah.
or somebody.
Well,
But do not
according-
say that it was Sally, because it sure in the hell was not. And she's,
Yeah.
as you guys know, Sally's one of my favorite final girls.
Yeah.
And
She's a great final girl.
yes, and I'm like, you did her wrong. That was terrible. You should be punched repeatedly in the face for it. Sorry.
Right.
Okay.
Before we go any further into that, I wanted to leave a fun fact about that. According to the time they were filming the original final girl who played Sally, she actually died.
Yeah.
I believe in the 90s or something like that. Some kind of cancer. I don't know what it was, but that's why they had to find somebody else to catch her.
Right.
In order for that story to make sense, to get
Right.
revenge on the group and everything,
Right.
that took away all her fun.
Yeah.
The story of family took away all her fun. And she's
Mhm.
trying to get revenge. And that's why I was a little bit disappointed, because this woman did not look anything like that.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. They just had to find another actor who
Right.
basically played Sally, and that's what
Yeah. She didn't look like Sally. She didn't act like Sally. She didn't sound like Sally.
That may be remotely close, but she
Yeah.
is not related to Sally or anything like that. She is Sally, but with a different actor. So
Yeah.
that's
Right.
why the director and the producer that were thinking about it, they were like, okay, you know what? We gotta figure out how to make this story complete, because this is 50 years. And I'm like,
Yeah, well, they failed.
So that's why.
Spoiler alert.
Which I would have said would have been damn near impossible.
Yeah. Honestly, like, if they were going to bring back a legacy character, which is what they were trying to do,
Right.
they shouldn't have waited so fucking long, in my opinion.
Yes. I believe that Marilyn Burns died in 2014.
I was going to say, I think it was 2014.
Oh,
I
was
think
it?
it's 2014 when she died. And I had the pleasure of meeting her. She was so freaking awesome.
2014, thank you. I
Yeah,
forgot.
she was so freaking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just as pretty when I met her as she was back then. She was so sweet, but that's a story for a different time. So yeah. All right, so now Melody and Dante are in the house and they are searching around. Melody is upstairs and Dante is downstairs. Melody is looking through the drawers and she finds a key, and the key is to a box, and she opens the box and she's like, oh,
there's a deed in here.
there's a deed in the house. We don't own this shit. So
so she was right the whole time. This old lady was right. We just walked into her house and now she's had a heart
Killed
attack
her.
and died.
Right.
And
So
now
now
justice will be repaid.
That's right.
in plenty.
So they cut back down to Dante downstairs and he hears something in the kitchen. So, of course, he goes into the kitchen to see what it is, because apparently nobody's ever seen a horror movie. And Leatherface is there and grabs him, and, you get the iconic shutting of the door and opening of the door, which was supposed to be like the OG. And it wasn't. But nice try. Anyway.
Yeah.
Melody is coming down the steps and she sees that Leatherface is standing over Dante with a meat cleaver.
Quite a cleaver too. My
goodness.
It
was quite a cleaver. So she runs back upstairs and she hides in a closet, and Leatherface goes up, and at first we think he's looking for her, but turns out he really was not looking for her. He just was up there and he grabbed his mother's dress and he was smelling it and kind of like laid it on him, and then sat down and started putting makeup on his mother's face that he was wearing, which I was like, oh, that's a cute homage to part 2. So
yes. And hey, it reminded me of the Pretty Woman mask, because he's like doing the makeup. And that's my favorite Leatherface mask.
No, when I did the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of my favorite the Pretty Woman is one of the favorite.
That's my favorite too.
It's my favorite Leatherface look. It's so
That's
good.
It's iconic.
Yeah. So good.
So Leatherface then goes to the window and he sees that all those people are out there and he gets a little bit pissed. He's like,
a little bit.
As he should.
Yeah. And he's like, you know what? All these people came into my town. They came in here, killed my mother. They're out here dancing. Somebody's going to die. I don't like it. No bueno. No bueno today.
Yeah.
So
I'm not feeling that.
So it starts raining and they're like, all right, everybody party on the bus, which
this is the weirdest gentrification party I've ever like I've never been to one and I would never want to go, but this is such a strange like group of people.
People with social media account and everything.
It's very strange.
So
it's so strange. Like go back to a hotel and party maybe. Like this just feels wrong.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Leatherface or Mel is still hiding under the Melody is hiding under the bed, and Leatherface comes in with the hammer and he starts going ape shit on the wall and starts breaking the wall open. So Dante stumbles out of the house because we thought he was dead, but apparently not. Yeah. So he's stumbling out of the house and he's, going toward the bus.
He's all cut up, by the way, coming out.
Oh yeah, no, he's all cut up.
Like his jaw is cut open.
Yeah.
His bottom jaw is just hanging.
It's like hanging. Yeah. Oh, it's good.
Yes.
So brutal. Oh,
that was awesome.
Yeah.
So the contractor comes out and he sees that first he's like, dude, because Dante had passed him. He's like, what the hell were you in this house for? He's like, yeah, I'm talking to you. So he kind of like goes over there and he sees that he's all, cut up and his jaw's all ripped off. And he's like, oh, damn, what's going on? So the banker was walking toward Dante because she's seen him. And he goes and he tells her, listen, go call the cops, get everybody on the bus, keep them in the bus. I got something to do.
Listen, I'm sorry at this point. Give them back their keys.
Well, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
But unfortunately,
yeah,
that was too late.
So the contractor runs into the house, and before he goes, he runs in and he grabs his gun. Now, I'm a big gun enthusiast. You guys know this. I have guns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If I'm like, okay, this dude just stumbled out of the house and half of his jaw's ripped off. So apparently it's not like there was a bear or a cheetah or something. Obviously, a person has to have done this. If I have my
very strong person,
you're right. But if I have my 9mm, which I would have with me in my waistband, but you have a freaking AK.
I was gonna say
that was right there.
He had a bigger gun.
Put the clip in that son of a bitch and go use it. I'm like, come on. But okay, I guess this is a movie. I'm just thinking, how stupid are you? So
I don't know anything about guns, but I was like, he should have grabbed that bigger one.
Right? The one that looks like it could be used in the army. Let's grab that gun. Okay?
Yeah. That 9mm is gonna do nothing. The Leatherface.
No.
Nothing.
No. So whatever. Okay, so the contractor goes into the house and all of a sudden Leatherface finds that his chainsaw was in the wall and
pristine
he pulls it out of the wall and it's pristine, it's clean, it's gassed up, all of it. It works like it just came out of Home Depot. I mean, seriously. Apparently they broke the wall and were in a Menards and were able to just get a new one. So whatever.
Props to the prop department.
Right?
Before we go even further, going back to the moment where Virginia died, did you say in that thing, like in that band, that cop band, it's not really an ambulance, but when you live in a small town, it's an ambulance and a cop band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fucking weird. But she's like doing that thing, and she's like telling Jedi Sawyer, who was Leatherface, by the way, it goes like, don't go in my room. That is why he not supposed to go in the room because the chainsaw
That's where the
that happened from
chainsaw is.
so many years ago has been walled up for decades. And now
I never pieced that together.
it's going like,
Me neither.
Yeah,
I
same.
never pieced that together.
Never pieced that together. I just assumed
And
I
especially
just
'cause-
assumed she was big on privacy
right,
and like stay out of my makeup or something.
Yeah.
right.
I gotta stop
Well,
right
that's what I
here, Ethan. I'm
thought.
sorry.
That's
I'm
okay.
just like, why was this chainsaw put in her room? Why did they wall it off in her room? Why do they even have it? Why is that not police evidence somewhere? Like,
Why was Leatherface not in prison? Why was Leatherface 80 years old? I mean, there's lots and lots and lots of things we gotta ask.
so many questions.
There are so many questions. There's a lot of whys and whens. So, and I do understand why wasn't in evidence somewhere, but also why wasn't Leatherface in prison?
Yeah.
I mean,
Why hasn't Sally found him sooner? If she's literally within driving distance, she can
Right.
catch him within 24 hours.
And why the hell does
telling me she
Sally
never
look like
looked
that?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go back to like organ store or whatever, why wasn't Leatherface back in a tunnel like he was
Yeah.
the Leatherface movie? So
Yeah.
that's like the organ store. Now remember, there are two different organ stores, technically. Like if you watch the reboot version, you're gonna see Leatherface being dumped in a goddamn dumpster as a baby. But
Right.
this other storyline, that other timeline, you're gonna see Leatherface literally at the boy and get taken away by the police and everything because Bora Doyer, that's the mom, by the way, that's the actual mom. Virginia, the caretaker, just to be clear.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Bora is actually the mom, and everybody say, you are not a fit mother. We're taking your boys away. And so, if you're going to go back to that story, why was she not locked up in the asylum so many years later after the whole thing? If you got that chainsaw on the wall and the police evidence, and Leatherface is right there on the orphan for like the next 50 years or whatever, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? We're missing something.
Always missing a lot of somethings.
Yeah.
Like a plot. But
Yeah.
anyway. Okay, so Leatherface is now fighting with the contractor. Starts beating the crap out of him, and
when he beats in his leg. Oh my gosh.
That was
and then he slits his throat and then begins to beat him down with a hammer and then the contractor he wakes up dead. Yeah.
he wakes up dead.
He wakes up dead. Yes.
He beats his head in.
Yeah.
Big
Leatherface killed him to death. That's what he did.
Yeah, he did. But
I will
before
say-
he could fully kill him, he reached for his keys and kind of because Lila's still, or not Lila, who's under the bed? Melody. Yeah, Melody's still under the bed, and he sees Melody and like kind of reaches for the keys and like hands them to him. And I don't know why Leatherface didn't put that together. Maybe he already knew, but it's like, come on.
What do you mean? There was a plot point. There was a hole in here. You couldn't understand why?
There's more holes in this plot than there are holes in the house by the end of this movie.
That's what I was wondering about all
Girl,
that,
I just call this movie Swiss cheese. There's so many damn holes in it. So
I will say that Richter did like get his cool hero moment though, where we're like, he was the cool good guy all along and they shouldn't have been mean to him. Because in that last moment, his last dying act is to try to do something to help them out and give her the keys.
Right.
You know what he should have done? Stuck to his original theory and say, I don't care what you guys do as long as I get paid. So
there we go.
And he already got paid, so
you guys are on your own.
I like it why the part that but I don't know. I don't know if they already paid him up front. I don't know how that works, but
well, I'm a contractor. He probably got half down and was getting balance and completion. But I'm like, I'll take my half down because the guy who is going to pay me doesn't have a face.
Yeah, so I'm gonna
leave.
While the getting's good.
I'm gonna leave. So
Yeah. I wish he had lived
You
longer.
gotta
I
feel
really
like
liked
money
that
on the point.
character.
You just want to know what the fuck happened in the house, and then you die.
Yeah.
I know.
He was definitely
Okay,
one of the
so-
better
No.
characters.
He
Yeah.
was.
He was my favorite character in the whole movie.
Yeah.
He was the only one
He
I
might
did
have been
not want to,
mine.
yeah, he's the only one I did not want to punch repeatedly in the face.
Same.
So Sally now finds the sheriff van and the dead cops, and she hears on the CB radio that they've got a body in Harlow and that they need a cop out there. So of course, Sally jumps in her car because she was on her way to go to Harlow anyway, and she looks at the picture again, which I'm like, oh, again, heartwarming moment. You're still not Sally. Pissed me off twice. I'm like, you're still not Sally.
They just have- They just have to remind you one more time. Hey,
Right?
you remember that original movie? You remember how much you love that? Let's stomp on it some more.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, just put salt in the wounds. Who are you, Art from Terrifier? So okay, so she knows that it's Leatherface. At least she thinks she knows it's Leatherface, and she's on her way to Harlow. So now we're back on the bus, and the sister is like, you know what? I'm leaving. I'm getting off this bus. I'm going to find my sister. They try to tell her not to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the younger sister.
They tried. Layla, she's like, no, don't leave, Layla. And Layla's like, screw you, I'm leaving anyway.
Yeah.
So she leaves, and then she's walking over there. She sees Dante's dead body. Melody's still under the bed, and this time she is taking the keys from the contractor because he was like, here, let me give these to you.
Yes.
I was laughing so hard when she picked up the keys, just like
Right?
Oh,
I
got him.
know.
So she's got him, and now she's she's like,
whoa!
She's creeping out of the house. Now she knows that Leatherface was in the other room because she's seen him move in there.
Mhm.
Look, I don't know about you, but I don't think I'd have been like, I'm gonna tiptoe through the tulips, because he knows you're in the house anyway. You know, she's like, I'm gonna be ginger and I'm go over here and I'm go. I'd have just ran. I'd have been like, catch me if you can. That's just me. I'd have been like, boom, I'm gone like a fart in the wind. See ya. So,
Well,
There's
there's nothing dainty about you.
well, no, if it was me, I'd have been like, look, I'm fat. I'm not running. I'm gonna fight to my death. So.
There's nothing dainty about you, Ethan. I could never imagine you tiptoeing anywhere.
No. No, I'm gonna stay there and fight. And if anybody knows me, it is what it is, and I'm gonna be strapped anyway. So I'm like,
She had me nervous though. She had.
a cleaver to whack that motherfucker over.
There you go.
Yeah. Hack his head off.
Boom!
Yes.
She had me nervous though, guys, because she's like hanging on the staircase, and then she put her feet on like the railing, and she's slipping, and I'm like, this is not a good idea, dude. This is not a good idea.
Yeah. No. I'm like, listen, you might be 6'7" and 400 pounds. And your chainsaw is big. But guess what? My bullet will fly quicker than your chainsaw will. So
there you go.
And I don't have to kill you. I just need to knock you down. I need to knock you down so I can run. So
yes.
I let you really unstoppable. Then it's gonna cut your head off.
Well, they're all unstoppable. That's why this is a movie. Yeah, I mean Jason, Freddy, all of them. So Melody's now under the house because when she seen Leatherface, he knocked her down. She went through the steps and she's under like the crawl space under the house. So
that was so cool.
Yeah, that was a very cool part. So Melody's under the house and Leatherface is above her, and Melody hears her sister outside screaming for her. And then all of a sudden the chainsaw comes through the floor and starts cutting through the floor as she's, crawling away from it. And which, look, I understand heat of the moment you're crawling, but you can see where the hell the chainsaw is. Roll over to the other side.
Yes.
Roll to one side or roll to the other. I'm like, don't just stay right in line with it, but whatever.
Use the power.
There's so many windows in this crawl space. Why are you sticking to this one where the chainsaw's going?
And she's hearing her sister out there, so I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So
right underneath the house and everything. That's just a bad way to go.
Yeah. So she's at the window, Leatherface cutting through the floor. He cuts through a soil stack, which is a sewer pipe, that 4-inch sewer pipe, and chainsaw number 1 wouldn't cut through that. But when it did go through that, and she was covered in shit, I was like, "That's funny. That's very funny." Because
It was funny,
because I've had that happen to me. Not with a chainsaw, but I've had it explode on me, and that's not funny. So
No.
Anyways, so the sisters are now out of the house and they run to the bus and they're partying on the bus. Or they run in and the people are still partying on the bus. So they're like, "Let's go. We gotta go. Come on."
Drive.
So the bus driver starts. So the bus driver starts driving, and for whatever reason, decides to stop. Did anybody catch the reason why he stopped?
Leatherface did hit the bus with a chainsaw.
Oh.
He
Was
did.
that what
That's
it
why the
was?
bus
Okay.
driver got out. Yeah, you could
Okay.
hear the
No.
chainsaws going
That's
into the
right.
bus. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know why, if you know, he was having problems or if he hit somebody or something, or if it was the chainsaw. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, the chainsaw's going into the bus, and he was afraid. He was like, "What the hell's going on?"
So he stops and he gets out of the bus, which
dumb,
stupid, and then all of a sudden his head comes flying back into the bus, which
I did like that. I like when a head flies in and you're like,
yes.
"Oh, well, he's gone."
Yes. So Leatherface now gets onto the bus where everybody's partying and posting and going live, and of course,
oh my god,
they all hold their phones up when the 6'7" guy covered in blood with a chainsaw comes in, and dude, we're gonna cancel you.
What's so fucking
Screw you and your cancel culture. I'm going to cut your head off. No.
You messed with the wrong freaking person,
right?
I know.
So I will say this, that Leatherface is like, "Oh, good. I've got all of my homies all contained. I'm going to kill them all at one time." And he just goes on a killing spree and starts cutting the crap out of people, which was just awesome. There was blood everywhere. I liked when the banker started to go out the window and she thought she was free and she was half out, and he just like cut her in half.
And she slides the first
half.
half.
She just slides down the bus. I was like, "Yes, that's freaking phenomenal."
No, don't go out that way.
All right, so Layla and now as all the killing is happening, Layla falls and slips on the blood, and she's looking at this guy who's like been cut in half, and she's like starts having a flashback to the school shooting. Which again, I felt very bad for her, because I mean, by no means am I making fun of any of that, so don't, nobody gets confused. I'm twist about that, but I mean, it was just like, oh my god, I felt for her at that moment. You're going through this type of crap again.
Trauma is a powerful force, man. It's very
absolutely. So now the sisters have locked themselves in the bathroom, and Leatherface is finishing killing everybody else. They decide that they're going to go out a hatch on the top of the bus. So Layla gets out.
Stupid, because
well, Layla's now out, and Melody's in there, and the chainsaw comes through and starts cutting, and Leatherface is there, so she takes the corkscrew, the chainsaw corkscrew, and stabs him with it.
That you bought from a store.
Exactly. So I was
the corkscrew the corkscrew she said she wasn't going to need, because when the sister gave it to her, she's like, "You don't need a corkscrew for champagne," and hey, she ended up needing that corkscrew pretty bad.
So both of the girls are out of the bus and they're running up the street, and they see the headlights of somebody, and they're like, "Oh my god, yes, salvation's here." And we find out that if it's Sally, not Sally, it's really not Sally. I hate this lady. But anyway, it's the person who's playing Sally.
We hear you, Ethan.
This poor woman.
Yes.
I get a melon bone with the pouch, but
so she picks up the girl. She picks up the girls and puts them in the back seat, and the girls are like, "All right, let's go." And she's like, no.
Can't do
They're
that.
like, what do you mean? She's like, can't do that. She's like, he's after you. This is what he did 50 years ago. I gotta fix it. And I'm like, okay, stop with the dialogue. You're not Sally. Just get the hell out the car and do what you're gonna do. So she gets out, she grabs her shotgun, and she goes into the house and she starts looking for him, and she finds him in the house, sitting on the bed.
You remember, motherfucker?
Yeah. He's looking this way, chainsaw's here. She's got the shotgun on him. I'm like, look, shoot him. I'm sorry. If I've waited 50 years to take my vengeance because you killed my brother and 4 of my friends, I'm not going to ask you how you are. I'm not going to be like, say my name, which he don't talk. Say my name. Do you remember me? What do you want him to pour you some friggin' tea? Shoot the bastard.
Okay, and this is one of my biggest
Care if he
complaints.
remembers me or not.
Yeah, this is
Right?
one of my biggest complaints. Is I think they did Sally dirty because I don't think Sally would approach it this way. I think after waiting all this time, after looking for him, after wanting to get him, she wouldn't like stand there and be like, "Say my name." No, she's ready. Like she's ready.
No.
She's there to avenge her friends and everything. So I don't think she'd.
Exactly.
I don't think she'd be doing it.
Exactly. And if you know, the original, she did have a lot of very occult experiences with Leatherface, being tied up and everything, like screaming.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that later. But that's a whole little fucked up bondage scenario going on. But anyway, having said all that, if you remember, she actually was up close and personal with Leatherface. So she could have known that Leatherface cannot fucking talk.
Yeah.
I mean, the original actor, Gunnar Hansen, he had to go to a school where there were people with disability and learn different mannerisms and all that, so that he could commit to the role of Leatherface, because Leatherface essentially is a disabled person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how the fuck did Daddy did not remember 50 fucking years later in a 2022 movie and go like, and I'm like, woman, I was sitting there watching it on Netflix, on my TV and everything. I'm screaming at the fucking TV. He cannot talk. How the fuck is he gonna tell you that? I bet he doesn't even remember you.
I don't think they ever cared to learn their names.
I know. And I think that Sally understands his personality and his motive a little bit, where I just think Sally would understand that Leatherface didn't really see them as people, he's not gonna remember their names.
Right.
He didn't see them as her friends. They were just they were just a problem for him to kill. Yeah.
The entire Sawyer family never saw them as people.
He's gonna remember all the victims that he took on.
Yeah.
And every single movie. What the
I think
he's killed a lot of people, guys.
I think the real
every single person he kills.
The real Sally would have remembered. Not the Temu Sally. So she'd a great value brand Sally. Okay, so after she has her whole talk with him, Leatherface decides, I'm getting up. I'm done with this conversation. I'm gonna just walk past you, walk out the house, and she's like, see ya. What? Ma'am. You searched for 50 years. You had a conversation.
Shoot him.
You didn't kill him. None. You're like, forget it. Go ahead. I'll catch you in another 50 years.
Yeah, I know.
Just let him walk out of the house. Okay, whatever.
And then boom!
Yeah.
He decided to go ahead and take a shot. I thought you remember me now.
So Leatherface. Leatherface breaks the window. Yeah. Leatherface breaks the window to get the girls out the back of the car, and Sally then shoots him and throws the keys to the girls and says, "Leave, get the hell out of here."
Finally.
Yes.
Only.
So Leatherface and Sally are fixing to have their showdown, and they they have their fight and all that. And he takes the chainsaw and puts it through Sally and is holding her up in the air and throws her into
Garbage.
a big trash pile. The girls then take the car and hit him and veer off and run into the contractor space, which, ma'am, you just deserve to die. You had the keys. She said to leave. You should have just left.
I would have just left.
Whatever.
I know.
I'm like, let fake Sally die. It's fine. She deserves it. For many
I would have
reasons.
just. Oh, yeah. It's time to leave. We're gonna leave Harlow.
Was hoping for. I mean,
Exactly.
I was hoping to see like an actual fight, like with Leatherface, fighting Sally. You got Lloyd or Angel Meyer or whatever, like in all the Halloween movie, fighting Michael Myers. So if Lloyd can fight Michael Myers, then why can't Sally fight Leatherface? What the fuck? This is not no showdown. You just made us wait 50 years for nothing.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because Laurie Strode was actually Laurie Strode. I don't know who the hell this Sally lady is.
Imposter.
Because Laurie Strode was actually Laurie Strode, and that's why she could fight Michael Myers. Anyway, I'm sorry.
That was the fastest fucking showdown between a final girl and a horror icon I've ever seen. And I was this is what I was pissed about.
Yeah.
I know.
I could get over all this other crap, but I will not stand for this.
No.
I just it was so unfulfilling. It really was. Where it's like you build it up, it's like a 50-year wait here, like 50-year waiting game, and then that's it. Like not
the first time
payoff.
they ever brought a legacy character back.
Yeah,
for Texas
not even a
Chainsaw.
fight. I mean, maybe like couple Chainsaw and then fucking Chainsaw. That's it.
Yeah.
Lifts her up into the air on the chainsaw. That's such bullshit.
I know. They did her dirty. They did our girl wrong.
Yeah. So Melody and Layla are in the car and she's like, listen, you need to leave. I'm hurt. I got some rebar through my leg. He's going to kill me. You need to leave. So the sister, now I wouldn't have left if it was my sibling. She's like, all right, bye. See ya. So she leaves. But obviously we know she wasn't really leaving. She was just getting out of the car. So, but at first I was like, wow. Okay, well, what a little bitch. But
see ya.
So Melody. Yep. So Leatherface is standing there, and Melody apologizes to him. It's like, my bad. You guys did have the deed. Our fault. Your mom's dead. Sorry. Layla tries to shoot him, but there's no bullets. And granted, honey, I know that you're not a big gun enthusiast, but if you're gonna shoot somebody, you should make sure it's loaded first. That's all I'm saying. So Layla's now on the ground and Leatherface is over with the saw and he's getting ready to kill her. And she's like, this is it. It's over with. I'm done. And all of a sudden, boom, we get a shotgun blast and fake Sally is not dead. And
which is such bullshit.
Yeah. I'm like, man, you had a chainsaw through you.
It went through her. She was suspended in the air by a chainsaw through her body. It went through one side and out the other.
Yes.
It's fine. She walked it off.
Exactly.
Merely a flesh wound.
So apparently super fake Sally was not dead yet. And she decided that she was going to shoot him one last time, and he doesn't kill Layla. And then he runs off into the theater. Right. So Sally tells her, she's like, don't run, don't leave. You've got to finish this, because if not, it's just it's gonna haunt you forever. And
want to bet?
Yeah, that man gonna haunt you.
And I'm like, at that point, I'd have been like, bitch. I survived a school shooting. I've been haunted for years.
I can get through this.
Yeah, I've been haunted for years.
Okay, the way you say
I don't care anything about the serial killer. I'm a bounce. I'm a go. I'll look over my shoulder. That's fine.
Yeah.
So Layla grabs the shotgun and she's like, all right, I'm going to go into the theater and I'm going to look for him. So she goes in there. At that point, it flashes back to Melody in the car and she's removing the rhubarb. Rhubarb is a fruit. The rebar. Leatherface leaves the chainsaw there for a prop, which I did not realize that Leatherface was into like doing stuff like this, but whatever. So he leaves it there as a prop. She sees it. She's like, "Oh shit, he ain't here." He jumps out, grabs her, and goes into the pool, spring, whatever the thing is under there.
Water, right?
Yeah, into whatever the water it is. So, they're in the water. She's crawling out of the water. Leatherface starts to come out of the water after her, grabs her. Little fight ensues.
Yeah, almost remind me of that whole Jason Boru thing going on. Where Jason goes out of the water.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So now they're fighting. Now Melody has jumped onto the back of Leatherface during this fight. He throws the saw at Layla, cuts her, then she jumps on her back, and there's all the fighting ensuing, and Layla shoots him 2 times. Yeah. So she shoots him 2 times, and she goes to shoot him again, and no more bullets. So she's like, "My bad. What's going to happen? What's going on here?" And sister comes out with the chainsaw.
Melody.
Yeah, Melody hits him in the head, and he falls into the pool. Spring.
Well, actually, it was an uppercut.
I was going to say it was like an uppercut with a chainsaw.
Yeah, she hits him in the head up here and falls. He falls in there, and then he's just kind of floating. And then you see him go down. So they go to get into the automatic car. Leatherface then busts the window and pulls Melody out of the window and cuts her head off. And he's standing there with her head as Layla is out of the sunroof. And she's looking as the car is driving down the street by itself, and she's standing there with the sister's head.
That's literally what happened.
So freaking stupid.
And then we get Then we get the wonderful little Leatherface dance that he does in all the movies toward the end. And then that's the end of the movie.
Thank God.
That right there was the plot points for this wonderful movie. So Jamie, please give us some fun facts.
Okay, I just got a couple here. I just got a few. Okay, so there were 3 writers on this movie.
Shocking.
Yes.
That explains a lot.
That explains why there's so many plots in this.
Why am I not surprised?
Oh, yeah. And then this I thought was kind of cool. The narrator at the beginning of this movie is the same narrator as the OG and the 2003 remake.
And you know who it is?
Same one.
Do you know who it is?
Who is it?
Who is it? I did not write down his name.
John Larroquette from Night Court.
Oh,
yes. Night Court. And I love him in almost everything he does.
It was on 2003. It was in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that was cool. This was supposed to have a theatrical release. It was a COVID movie. Like it was dealing with production a little bit, but it was supposed to have a theatrical release. Apparently it had some pretty bad screenings. So they just ended up selling it to Netflix.
No.
Why?
So then it became just a Netflix release. So that was that. When they drive into Harlow, the population on the sign is 1,974. So just like the original year, 1974. They had lots of Easter eggs to the original in this movie.
Yeah.
And the town might have not been far away from the house. So
Yeah. Apparently they couldn't actually run the chainsaw in the bus because they tried doing that a couple times and the bus immediately filled with gas and smoke. So couldn't do that. And then last fun fact I had is it is the same exact runtime as the original movie.
Why did it seem so much longer?
It did.
That's what I was wondering. It felt a little bit longer. But
it felt longer.
Long, yeah.
It felt
because
longer.
I could watch the original. I could watch that on loop.
I could too.
Put it on and just let it go. So,
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, it's over already?
right?
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get into rating the movie. We will
Yep.
start with our guest.
My rating, don't get me wrong, it was pretty good for a while, but so many plot holes in that movie, okay? Especially after the fact that you put Lila and Madeline in the car at the end of the film, and they're driving off. I think they're gonna blow away a car on autopilot, okay? It's not even 20 miles per hour. It's like maybe 50 miles per hour that and it's moving away and everything. So all of that aside, and then you have a bonus after credit scene
Mhm.
showing Leatherface walking home. And I'm like, you're walking all the way from Harlow to the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre house. Okay, now that I would have given them maybe $5 if they had done that probably right at the end. But instead, they want the whole credit and go right after. So I'm like, so other than some somewhat creative kill, not too bad, not great, but it's not too bad. Um, and then of course the terrible dialogue and some of it, especially when you're fighting about goddamn flies, which I don't really agree with, by the way. I don't agree with that fly. But fighting over car keys, fighting over all kind of bullshit and then, oh, I can take care of myself, and I'm like, this whole dialogue was all over the place. And wasn't even consistent. And then when Madeline said, I'm so sorry to Leatherface, yeah, technically, yeah. There was that whole season and all that stuff going on. But there was a possibility, because if you see the name on the D and everything on the movie, there's a possibility that Madeline and Lila might have actually been related to Virginia, especially when they when the cop pulled them over in the car at the beginning of the film. You're
Right.
saying
Right.
the whole thing that, oh, I have family that used to live here. So she actually did live in, Harlow
Yeah.
before.
That's
So
right.
that kind of makes you wonder. Now we fast forward to all of that. We got through all of that. Honestly, my rating with everything that happened in that film, I would have said maybe 3.5 stars.
Yeah.
I would have given a 4 if it wasn't for that thing at the end of the credit.
Yeah.
It could have been moved up a little bit earlier. That's why I'm saying. But
Okay.
yeah,
That makes
Okay.
sense. Yeah.
3.5
Jamie?
stars. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jamie, what about you?
I'm pretty close to you. I'm going to give it like a 3. Now, maybe I'm being extra mean to it. I don't know. I will say that I liked it the second time a little bit better than the first time, but I still wasn't a fan. For me, the biggest thing was I just didn't like how they did Sally. I didn't like her final girl kind of moment. I thought her pass off to Lila, her you go final girl now, just didn't really do it for me. So that was the part that really upset me, was just how they did Sally. Because when I think of Sally waiting 50 years to get revenge and avenge her friends, I think she would have handled it differently, and it could have been so badass and super satisfying to the fans.
Like an actual fight and everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
And us fans would have loved that, because Sally is a favorite final girl. Let's be real. She is one of the greats. So I think fans would have really liked to see that, an actual showdown that meant something. And I didn't think it did. The kills were pretty cool. Some of the kills were good. I did enjoy some of the kills, but doesn't save the movie for me. So I'm just gonna give it a 3.
I'm gonna give it a 1.5. 1.5 because So I really wish that they could have done Sally a bit better. And just slightly. They were clearly inspired by the 2018 Halloween movies to, bring back a legacy character based off of how they did with Laurie Strode and all that again.
Yeah.
And it just did not work. The writing didn't make sense. Like, you built it up like it could have been great. You know, the fans have been asking for this for freaking years. And like, it could have been great. She was a Texas Ranger and all this stuff. Like, it could have been incredible. Literally, she was a day's ride away from the town where he was the entire time. Are you freaking serious? And the hand, like what you were saying, Jamie, the handoff between her and the new final girl, hated it. It could have been done so much better. And also, like, it would have been cool to see them fight
Yeah,
alongside each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been cool to see them fight alongside each other to go against Leatherface, and then she passes the torch on, whatever. I get if she has to die.
Yeah.
But what really made me upset was the fact that Lila, or whatever her name is, I don't even care.
Yeah, it was Layla.
She's the final girl, and she's about to take down Leatherface, and then her sister steps in the front of her, and it's like, she's literally a trauma survivor from a school shooting, and you're taking away all of her power in that one moment. So I didn't like any of the kills, to be honest. I thought it was ridiculously cheesy and over the top, and I don't like that in my horror movies most of the time. It did not work in this movie.
I was going to say that too.
Yeah, I hated it. So 2.
All right. Let me sum it up. Movie sucks. That's it. Movie sucks. I'm going to give it a 2. Didn't really like anything about it other than the contractor.
Yeah.
He was cool.
He was good.
I enjoyed him. I liked, he was a decent guy. I liked he was gun toting. Didn't take any shit. But yeah, the rest of the movie was terrible. And it was not Sally.
All right, guys, that is Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2022. Lorelai, we will have all of your information in our description for our episode and also on our link tree. And we're so thankful that you joined us tonight.
Right.
It's been
on our Patreon, everything.
Yes.
It's all about.
Yes, absolutely. And if you're into horror video games, definitely check out Lorelai's Twitch. It's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On Twitch and YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Just remember, if you ever find yourself in a horror movie, don't have sex.
Don't do drugs.
And certainly don't die. We'll see you next time.
I don't
Bye.
say you're coming back because you're not coming back. That's an important rule.
Yeah. Bye,
That's
guys.
a really important rule.
Bye.
All right? Enjoy the game.